Okay, good. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this lovely Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock South African time. I'm very happy to be presenting this evening with Merle. Merle's going to do the product part. I'm going to do the business part, and I'm going to share my story when just before I do the business part. But I'm going to hand over to Merle for her story, and let's go into the product. Thank you,
Thanks.
Merle.
Thanks so much, Kim. Okay, so I joined LifeWave in December 2022, not having seen the presentation that you're going to see this evening because LifeWave was so new to South Africa, although we have been around for 21 years this year. I was shown a video or YouTube of David Schmidt, who's our CEO, talking to healthcare professionals. And it was on that I joined because I've been in complementary healing for the last 30 years. I'm a life alignment therapist and teacher, and I'm a low carb nutrition coach. Although now LifeWave is my life and it is all I do. But I'm going to jump into the presentation and I will give my testimony when we get to testimonies. So just give me a second to share my screen. Right, you're seeing everything properly now. Okay, right, so the question we always start with is, have you been patched yet? Because our patches elevate, activate, and regenerate. Now, we can't talk about LifeWave without talking about David Schmidt, who's our CEO and the inventor of X39, which is the product we're going to focus on today. He now has 200 registered patents, not just 130. He's a scientist and inventor, not a medical doctor, and he specializes in age reversing. So in 2008, David focused his attention on stem cell research because that was the time when medically stem cells were coming to the fore. So it was when they started asking moms if they wanted to store the stem cells from their baby's umbilical cords to use later if they were needed. And that was when the pharmaceutical industry started pouring money into stem cell research. It is $1 billion industry now. The patent for X39 took 10 years and $4.5 million to bring to market. So now I'm sure everybody here knows that a patent is something that doesn't come cheap, costs a lot of money to get. You also have to clinically prove that what you're saying in the patent, if it's linked to a device like LifeWave, is in fact true, and that you have the studies to back it up. Otherwise, you can't patent it, and that nobody else has the product. X39 was patented in 2020, so we have 15 years left on the patent. And what does the patent say? It says it's embodiment as a result of elevating copper peptide, including the activation of stem cells, improvement in energy, elevation of antioxidants, a reduction in inflammation, management in pain, improvement in stamina, an elevation of collagen production, and improved wound healing. So in actual fact, what X39 does is that it elevates copper peptides in the body. This can be measured in blood tests. So that's where the scientific proof comes from that. It comes from blood tests. And then we look at all the research as to what do copper peptides do. And the most important thing for us that copper peptides do is they activate stem cells. Now, if you're not sure what a stem cell is, stem cells, when we conceived, were a mass of stem cells. Stem cells become every organ and gland in the body. So stem cells become the heart, the liver, the kidneys, the skin, the arteries, the veins, absolutely everything. So when we have a lot of stem cells, if we have damage anywhere in the body, they just replicate and repair. But unfortunately, the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age and the slower we heal. And obviously, we know that around the world, so many people are aging. What I didn't know when I joined LifeWave, although I've been in healing for many years, is that by the time you turn 30, only half your stem cells are active. So by 30, you're actually middle-aged. And by 60, you lose almost all stem cell activity. And that is why older people, they'll injure themselves. It'll take a very long time for them to heal because their body no longer has stem cells to repair, whether it's the skin or whether it's the immune system. So how does X39 work? So it's a proprietary form of phototherapy. So what do we mean by that? We mean light therapy. It reflects light to activate. So if we look at a LifeWave patch, this middle section, which is white, so you can see this little middle section, it's about a little bit like a plaster, It is patented nanocrystal technology. So nanocrystals just being the smallest size of crystals. They're made up of amino acids, glucose, and salts. And they send messages back into the body to activate the cells. So it's a bit like vitamin C. Sorry, not vitamin C, vitamin D, in that the sun hits the skin, it sends a message into the body, and that activates our body to produce vitamin D. What this does is that the light from the body, the light that we emit, hits the patch, it sends a signal back in. That signal activates the body to produce copper peptides. So it's non-transdermal, no drugs, chemicals, or stimulants, and it's non-invasive. The benefits of X39 are increased strength, mental clarity. A lot of people talk about mental clarity. A reduction in inflammation. That was one of the main things that happened for me when I started. I'd had a shoulder injury in 2012. I battled so much with inflammation. I used to have needling with my chiropractor. I used to go to the chiropractor probably 3 times a month. I took anti-inflammatories. I had massages, and yet it was always inflamed. It also impacted my muscular and skeletal conditioning because I couldn't do all the exercises that I wanted to do. Within my first week of patching, I already had a result with that, but it took me 2 years for that to be completely healed. Increased stamina. Lots of people say they feel just like little energizer bunnies. Improvement of sleep, more energy and vitality, and improved skin appearance. I've had a funny story with that too. I had somebody ask, one of the chiropractors in my team was asked by a mutual friend whether I was actually using Botox, because they said my skin didn't look the way it used to. So I'm 59, I'll be 60 next year. And I've also been asked, have I had a facelift? And no to either of those things. So the important thing to note here is that LifeWave products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. They activate the body to heal itself. Now, this for me is a very exciting slide because it's a topography map of a 77-year-old woman's brain. So what do we mean by a topography map? Basically a photograph of the top of her brain. Session 1, there are no patches. She hasn't patched it all yet. And you can see the red area in her brain is all inflammation, and there's a lack of brain coherence. Session 2 is 3 weeks of patching every single day with X39. There's no more inflammation, and there's improved brain coherence. 6 weeks on is session 3, and you can see there's a complete turnaround in her brain, and the brain coherence is way, way better. So when she came in, her brain was hyperactive, calmed down dramatically within 3 weeks, and 6 weeks it's so much better. And the longer she patches, the better it's going to be. So what about the long-term results of X39? Now this is all per case study on thisisit.info.com, which is a website put together by our upline in America, Steve and Gina Merritt, and all the scientific research and everything is there. So what happens is that in the first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset. Now this is quite something, because medically they say if you take something called resveratrol, 2 genes can reset. Within 6 weeks, as we've seen on the previous slide, the brain becomes balanced. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. Now collagen, everybody thinks hair, skin, nails. Collagen is way more than that. Everything in our body needs collagen. Our tissue needs collagen to hold it together properly. Our organs are all made up of collagen. Our cartilage, our ligaments, everything needs collagen. It's what keeps us together. So you produce your own collagen. And within 6 months, your heart reverses in age. Again, this is a clinical study. So David Schmidt says this is not anti-aging, it's age reversing. So how do we wear X39? We wear our patch 12 hours on and 12 hours off to repair and rejuvenate. Then you take your patch off, like I've just taken this patch off now, and you throw it away, or you place it on your pet. So I'm not going to throw this away. When this talk is finished, I'm going to put it onto my dog. And then you put a new patch on the next morning and you repeat. Now you can wear more than one patch at a time, but we don't mean more than one X39. We can wear our supplementary patches. So we actually have 10 patches. So we have patches like Eon, which work on inflammation, IceWave, which works on pain. You can do that. And then you can wear patches continuously, but not the same patch. So we have some nighttime patches. like aloe vera, which is great for skin, but it's also a patch that induces sleep, so we wear it at night, or Silent Night, which is the sleeping patch. And some people wear Eon, which is the anti-inflammatory patch at night. And then it's very important to drink plenty of water, and if possible, to take electrolytes. So X39 is so sophisticated, yet it's so simple to explain. The testimonies of X39 are life-changing and emotional, but the best thing about it is it absolutely works. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to ask Jenny and Kim to give their testimonies. And I don't know who Samsung SMA is. If Samsung SMA is a brand partner, let me know, because then it'll be another testimony. Should we go Jenny first, and then Kim can do hers and go into the next part?
Okay, great. Right, so heard it before. Osteoporosis 4 or 5 years ago, but it was really bad. I mean, I was looking at my results. The results were quite hectic, and it was just a steady decline down. And it concerns a person, because if they medically say they can't do anything about it, then you really have to be careful. And I mean, I'm talking about like wanting to parasail off Signal Hill, and they'll say, no, you can't do that. And you can break your bones. And it's like, damn. So yeah, so I've had a reversal. So I've gone from osteoporosis to osteopenia, and that was in 8 months. So much so that the endocrinologist said, I'll see you in 2 years' time. So that's pretty amazing, I have to say. And all the aches and pains, now I'm at the point where I would get out of bed and everything would creak, the ankles and everything. That's completely gone. I don't know so much about brain fog lifting, but I must say I have very good sleep, that when I wake up, I'm awake, which is very unusual, because normally it takes me forever to wake up. So I'm finding, and that's since I've started patching, it hasn't changed at all. And all the little bits and pieces that change. I just wanted to mention I have an Aeon. I know it's not the X39, but I have an Aeon on the back of my neck. It started a headache that goes up my neck and into my brain. And it's great. For a change, it's really, really working. It's like just stop that inflammation in the track. So that's great for people who have headaches as well.
That's
Thank you.
fantastic. And that's also another story, because it really does make a difference. And then
Does.
okay, I just got one more story about my husband. So some people have heard his story, and that he had pyorrhea, which is a hereditary gum disease. 2 years into patching, it's completely gone. And so he also had a 30-year-old crown, which his dentist said, oh, we've got to have this taken out. And because obviously a 30-year-old crown is a bit problematic, it could break at any time. And he had some teeth that he's ground down because he clenched his jaw that are not great. But the 30-year-old crown used to have a black line above it, and that went completely. And today he had 4 new crowns put in, so no more veneers, all crowns, all done, which has been quite interesting. And his dentist cannot believe his gum health. And I said, I cannot believe that the dentist who has watched this, because he's the one who said to him in January, I cannot believe that your pyorrhea is gone. And he went, what? He said, no, there's no trace of it. That he's not actually recommending it for other patients, but there you have it. Not everybody is going to, even when they see it in someone else, is going to believe it. And he's not seen it in any other patient ever. That pyorrhea is gone. But we have lots of reports of gum disease going. So over to you, Kim.
Thanks, Merle, and thanks for that, because I need to go to the dentist soon for a checkup. So everyone, I started on LifeWave about a year ago, just over a year ago, and there wasn't anything dramatically wrong with me. I'll share the business side when I start the presentation, but I just knew that this was this was something I'd been waiting for. And I think within 10 days, I started getting results. Definitely all the 8 benefits, Merle, that you mentioned. I think I've experienced all of those. Definitely, like you, Jenny, sleeping a lot better, starting to dream. I dreamt last night again, and I hadn't been dreaming for years, which tells me I'm really having a deep sleep. But one thing I will share with you, as a child, I used to suffer from really, really bad nosebleeds, to the point where I used to be rushed to hospital because my nose would just bleed for hours, and my nose had been cauterized so many times with minimal results. But as a result, I didn't even know, but it was starting to affect my, my breathing and that kind of thing. And after wearing X39, I'll never forget sitting on the bed, like on a Sunday evening. It was almost like a switch had been turned off in one of my nostrils, and I could feel the air flowing between both nostrils, which I didn't realize how I was breathing wasn't normal, and I can feel it now. So that switched. Also, in about 3 months, my cholesterol and my glucose levels completely normalized. And yeah, completely normalized. I had to ask the doctor twice, like maybe she had seen incorrectly. And also, I was having problems with my C4 and C5 vertebrae in my neck. I think because of walking miracle, she's quite tough to walk. And in the past, I'd say 6 months, there's absolutely no pins and needles anymore, anything like that. So I'm quite interested to get some x-rays on that. Also, just very quickly, as Merle mentioned, my second-hand patch goes onto my little doggy Tao, who's 15 years old. And sometimes the results, as Jenny said, we keep on getting results, but when you see it in someone else, it's incredible. And I definitely see it in Tao. He's just like a completely different doggy. He's got his strength back. He jumps up onto chairs that he couldn't jump on, up anymore, into the car. Someone today just said, she wished she could be like him because he's just always happy. So I've noticed, yeah, he's always smiling. You can literally see him smiling. And it's so interesting, everyone, if you're an animal lover, I patch both of my dogs and they wait for the patches. There's no drama or anything. They just know what you're doing and they wait for their patches. So, yeah, lots of great results. And every day there's just something new. You just feel a little bit different. You feel stronger. Mood generally remains constant. And quite a few times I've actually been called the Energizer Bunny. So, yeah, gives you lots of energy. So some great results. Thank you, Mo.
Perfect. Thanks, Kate. Was somebody else talking? I don't think so. I'm jumping back to the presentation. Okay. So my last slide, and I did talk about it before, is that this is at info.com, is where you will find all the information about the product. You'll find the patents, you will find David Schmidt talking to healthcare professionals, a little video explaining how the light works with patches, Dr. Leyland Stillman talking. Right at the end of the site, you'll see a panel of doctors. It's really worth watching that panel of doctors. And there are a lot of testimonies. You can dip into that website as little or as much as you like, and there is so much information there. So over to you, Kim.
Thank you, Mo. So just a very quick story. I came into LifeWave, as I said, just over a year ago. My upline, Amanda Ace, introduced me to LifeWave. I knew nothing about the company at all. I didn't know about the product. I didn't know about the business, but I just knew I wanted in. And so I've been learning about the company as I've gone along, still learning, and just so happy that I'm in a company like this. And what I've been learning is that, I had no clue that it's a 20-year-old company. So I really got into something that, has substance. We're now open in over 87 countries, I think. And what I love the best, because I really was not interested in multi-level marketing at all, but I wanted to get into LifeWave. But what really gave me confidence is that it's not a Me Too product. And many other companies, many multi-level marketing companies have great products, but many of them have very similar products, and then there's a lot of competition, and it's quite difficult to market. We're the only one of its kind. It's one of a kind, so it's really easy to market, easy to talk about. In 2021, LifeWave made 20 million, which I think is nothing to be sneezed at. But I mean, then you go to 2022, 320 million, 2023, 430 million. And how does this work? I mean, 2024, over 600 million. That's just unheard of, I think, in any kind of company. And that's because of course, of the introduction of our flagship X39 for stem cell regeneration, but also because of our Steve and Gina Merritt, who really took the team to the next level. And now this is a team is pushing LifeWave to $1 billion for 2025, and we on track. Thank you, Merle. And what's wonderful, I didn't know much about, this business at all. But if you go to, businessforhome.org, they actually rate, the marketing, what's the word I'm looking for? Direct selling companies. And it's very fascinating. You can go into that site, and we are right at the top. And if you look at the graph as well, since 2018, we've actually made a 3,000% increase in profit, and that is just unheard of for any company. So it's telling you that we're in the right place at the right time. And why this happens as well is because for anything like this to happen, you've really got to have a good product. You've got to have a good system, and you've got to have a team that believes in you, which we have. Thank you, Merle. There you can see, and then in 2024, we received the #1 growth company award, and not only in 2024, but also this year in 2025. So 2 years running. So we really are going places. And there you can see the whole team and everyone on the stage. Thanks, Merle. And the next slide that you did see that's coming up now is just one of the many events now that we're having, and you can literally see basically filling almost like a stadium. I absolutely love this slide. It always gets to me when I read this slide, Merle, it really does, because I just see it changing so many people's lives. And whenever I read this slide, it really makes me think about my life and everyone watching this as well. What is the most important thing in your life? Is it family? Is it time freedom, security, travel, better health, less debt? And I think for many people, it's a combination of all of these, maybe with the emphasis on one of them. Well, if I can speak about you, I mean, you've just gotten rid of all of the debt that you had as a result of COVID, and that many people had as a result of COVID. So you don't have any debt, but I mean, you traveling, you the jet setter nowadays, and all of these things for you have changed, and for many of us. For me, time and wealth, money freedom is really important. So all of these are important to me, and already, many of these have been touched on my life as well. Thank you, Merle. So how do you make money if you're interested in the business opportunity, which you just can't not be? It's just such a fantastic compensation plan. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm not going to go too much into depth about this. We are getting an upgraded compensation plan coming soon in the next couple of months. But what I do want to share is at the moment we have 4 ways to make money. And we're going to be upgraded to 9 ways to make money. But one of the most important things, besides the retail, which you can make money through, what's wonderful is about the binary system, building your team. And it's as simple as really building your left leg, building your right leg, bringing one person on left, one person on the right, one person on the left, one person on the right. And in the current compensation plan, when you get 4 people like that, your team, which what I was very interested in growing, because I love working with teams, you become a manager. So it literally is as easy as just bringing 4 people in. And if you think about it, when I heard about LifeWave, I immediately started making a list of all the people I wanted to help, not only with their health, but people who needed financial support, who wanted to grow financially. And 4 people, that could be someone in your family, your sister, your brother, your mother, a colleague, a friend. So I think within a month, I had my 4 people and I became manager. It was really as easy as that. And you can earn up to $25,000 a week. And believe it or not, but a lot of people are actually earning that and maxing that out. Thanks, Merle. One of the other ways that I do want to mention, because I think we're the only kind of company that has something called the matching bonus, which I absolutely love. We're really about in LifeWave, it's about helping each other grow. And the matching bonus is just, for example, let's say I had to bring Merle in and she's my first line. Whatever she does, so let's say Merle earns $1,000 this week, I will get 25% of that $1,000 because I brought her into the company. For example, I didn't. Merle is my upline. Um, but because we brought that person in, and also we helped them grow their business, grow their team, understand the compensation plan, understand how the business works. The LifeWave compensates you for that, but not. I won't take anything away from Merle, so I'm not taking 25% of her money. Okay, the LifeWave rewards me with that because I've helped Merle. And so it goes down. Your second line, you get 20%, and third line, 20%. And this is unlimited. So this is really, really where the magic begins. So how do you start on LifeWave? And Merle always says, you come in where you fit in. Okay. So we've got these three amazing packages. And you really, it just depends on, I always coach whoever wants to come in and coach, what are their needs and where do they want to go in the business. So the core is, I would encourage everyone to start on the core, if not the advanced or premium, because the core encourages you to, you get enough product for 3 months. And as David Smith says, that we should be patching at least for 3 months to get the results that we want to see. Some people will see results within minutes, within days, but definitely 3 months you should be patching. So you get your 3 sleeves of X39, and then we have the advanced package, which I think I upgraded immediately within 10 days to advanced because I saw the benefit of that. The more you're paying, the cheaper your sleeves become. But I also wanted products on hand. I wanted to be able to patch people around me, and I was serious about my business. And what I found is that the more I invested, the more seriously I took the business. And then premium is really for the serious entrepreneur. And I'm thinking of Merle brought a clinic into the team in Durban, and a clinic. They just, I think they started on core and quickly realized that they needed something like premium because the word traveled, and they just needed more and more patches. So if you have a well-being business, if you're maybe a doctor, a well-being practitioner, we also have a chiropractor in our team, you're going to need quite a bit of product. Now, the only thing you need to do to stay active as a business is you just need to buy 1 sleeve a month. If you're a manager, you buy 2 sleeves a month. And that's like any business. To be in business, you need to stay active. But quite honestly, I've never had to pay for my product, except for the first 2 months, because the business works itself, and the business, your commission starts paying for your product. Thank you, Merle. So as Merle said already, there are 2 amazing websites, and you know what? I still haven't exhausted these at all. This is at info.com, as Merle said, put together by Stephen Gina Merritt. Anything you want. A lot of people like to do research and like to know the clinical and the case studies and the clinical trials. Everything is there. Amazing. There are 4 amazing videos on there. Anything you need to know about X39, you can go to that site. This is at team.com, is basically created for us also by Stephen Gina Merritt to help us build the business. Everything, it's like if you had a franchise and you get one of these thick manuals, this is all on this website and very easy to understand. And anything you want to know, you can go to this is at team.com, and that's what you will get when you start your business. Thank you, Merle. So this is time now. This is the time to make your move. If you're really serious about your dream, the first question there is, what is your dream, right? Sometimes we have a dream and we actually give up on the dream. We think it's not possible. And I can promise you that it is. There really is hope for your future. It really has changed my life already, and growing. And basically just get started with X39. Honestly, when I got in, I started promoting LifeWave before I'd even signed up, before I'd even registered and before I had my product, just because I believed in it. And when you're not looking for something, but you know it's there when it's there. And when that happened for me, it was like, I need to get in right now. I was almost scared that, like, if I don't get in, I'm going to lose it. But yeah, so that is Lifeway. And if you are really interested, if you want to know more, if you have any questions, Aruna and Samsung, if you're not a brand partner, go back to the person who invited you. They will help you register or answer any questions that you may have. Thank you, Mo.
Thanks so much, Kate.